Oh, fabulous. Kimberly here to remind you of the importance of self-care and to talk a little bit about how you can supercharge your self-care because I know you're out there being there for others on a regular basis. In fact, if I were to guess, my guess would be that you spend the vast majority of your hours and your days putting your energy out into the world. And for that, I thank you and many thank you because we need that. We need your energy. We need your light shining on the world. But that said, if you want to continue to be a positive, strong advocate for others, you always have to remember how important it is to be a strong, positive advocate for yourself. So I was at a conference in Chicago many years ago, lots of amazing authors speaking. There was Marianne Williamson and Don Miguel Ruiz of the Four Agreements. And one of the speakers was Ayanna Van Sant. She used to be a spiritual mentor for Oprah and has done amazing things, written some amazing books, had her own show, the Ayanna Fix It, I think it is. But she was an amazing speaker and I went to see her speak and she spoke for an hour. And at this time in my life, I was excelling in so many areas. I was doing really well. I was, being promoted. I was in a leadership role for a large corporation and was in service. I got to be in service. I had over 100 or close to 100 group fitness managers that I got to support and close to 3,000 group fitness and yoga instructors around North America. I mean, that was my job to get to support them. I mean, who wouldn't want that job? It was amazing. And yet I found myself kind of hitting a wall from time to time. I would get sick. I had come down with pneumonia a couple of times and it just wasn't making sense. Something wasn't clicking. And I went to listen to Ayanna speak and she started and in fact went on for the first half of her hour talking about the fact that we are here to be in service. We're here to be in service of each other. And every morning we wake up, we should ask, dear God, how can I be in service today? Who can I help today? And the whole time she's talking, I'm giving her all of these like mental and emotional like high fives. I'm like, yes, yes. Like she's validating everything I believe. I truly believe in being a servant leader. I want to be of service. I want to make a difference in the world. And so I'm like, yes, she's validating everything I believe. That's awesome. But then down here in the kind of the pit of my stomach, I just felt like, oh, wait a minute, why do I get so burned out then? Like, why every now and then I get sick? Why do I hit the wall? Like, why do I feel so damn tired? Even sitting here right now, I'm tired. Why? If I'm doing it right, I'm supposed to be in service and I'm spending every waking hour trying to find ways to be of service, then what's the problem? And then she made this shift about halfway through. And it started with these words, but don't get me wrong. So she said all these amazing things that validated my belief of the importance of service. And then she says, but don't get me wrong. Dramatic pause. I'm like on the edge of my seat. And what else is there? Then she said words that will forever be etched in my mind that I seriously consider getting a tattoo of, but I'm afraid of needles, so that's probably not going to happen. Maybe I'll put it in a frame and on a wall somewhere sometime, but right now they're just etched in my mind and on my heart. She said these words, may my cup runneth over so that I may give freely and be in service of others. But what's in the cup is mine. Don't you touch it. And she spent the next half hour talking about the importance of self-care, talking about how important it is that if you really want to be in service of others at a high level, then you really need to make yourself the number one priority. Because the only way you're going to have the bandwidth, the energy level to live that kind of dream, to be at that level of service for other human beings on this planet, is if you make yourself your top priority. And we've all heard the analogy of when you're on an airplane, they said put your oxygen mask on first. So we know this, like we know how important this is, but this one really drove it home for me. May my cup runneth over so that I may give freely and be of service to others. But what's in the cup is mine, and don't you touch it. And that was a wake-up call for me, just in time, might I add. And so I started really diving into, what does that mean? What does it mean to make myself a priority? And that's what I really want to challenge you to do. Even if you feel like you've already got your self-care routine, like just take another look at it. Because there's some typical items on a self-care list, but self-care can look different for different people, and we need to respect and honor that. And you have to figure out what works best for you. But at the end of the day, it's about feeling, even if you're going through challenging times, feeling from within that you're at a sense of ease, that you're in alignment with who you are and on your path, and that you're in flow, that you're just enjoying your life. You're in flow. Like you're not dreading the day. You're jumping out of bed, looking forward to the day. You're happy for this moment, grateful for this moment, and excited for what's next. I mean, is there any better way to live than that? In that state of appreciation. So, the typical things that we think about with self-care would be making sure that we're fueling our body properly, that we are moving our body on a regular basis, and that we are getting enough rest. So that's taking care of, the physical. For me, a big one is presence practice. However, that may come to life for you. For me, it's meditation. And I highly encourage you, if you haven't considered meditation, to take a look at meditation. To meditate means to become familiar with, and our ability to just quiet the thoughts of the mind and focus inward gives us an opportunity to create that alignment, to become familiar with who we really are. But presence practice can take different forms, just coming to a quiet place, maybe just listening to soothing music, maybe it's your breath, prayer, just an opportunity to be in the moment and be. You're not trying to think through things. You're not making lists to do. You're not trying to figure things out or create solutions. You're just allowing yourself to be. Because when you quiet the fluctuations of the mind, as yoga teaches us, it does allow a space for impulses and ideas and inspirations to bubble up. So that's when we can actually get the most benefit for the good work we want to do. We can become more productive by slowing down. So presence practice is a big one. Making sure you create time for fun and flow activities in your life. Like, what are the hobbies that you like to do? Maybe it's reading a book or listening to podcasts, going for a run or a bike ride or hiking, maybe practicing yoga. But just things that you like to do that when you're in them, time just goes like that. That's flow. Flow is being so in the moment that you kind of lose track of space and time. So make sure that you're scheduling. Don't just talk about or wish about or think about or hope that you have enough time this week for those. No, schedule them. Put them into your calendar so that you're sending a signal to your mind, your heart, and your soul that these are a priority. These moments are just as much a priority as getting the work done. So those moments for fun and flow. And by all means, healthy boundaries. That's a big one too for self-care. Making sure that you remember no is not a bad word. No is one of the best words in our vocabulary when it means that you're protecting your time and energy. If you haven't heard me say this before, here you go. You are the guardian of your time and energy. No one else. It is no one else's job. It is only your job to protect your time and energy. So it is absolutely, if you want to operate at your highest level and excel to the greatest point you can as a leader, and with your ability and the bandwidth and the energy to be of service to others, you've got to have healthy boundaries for yourself. That is a huge part of self-care. I also think of positive self-talk when I think of self-care. Every word spoken, whether it is out loud or in your thoughts, will either serve to lift you up, hold you stagnant, steady. Sometimes that isn't necessarily a bad thing, so I'll use both words, or take you down. And way too often we are unconsciously speaking words of judgment and criticism that take us down. And I want to really encourage you to be very aware of the words that you're using as you're talking about yourself, talking about your abilities, talking about your brand, talking about your business, talking about your community, talking about your future, that you use only positive, uplifting words that speak to not the issues, the problems, but to where you want to be, so that you're always coming from a state of appreciation that I'm here, and send that message, out to the universe, not to get too woo-woo on you. But I am a big believer in bringing in the woo along with the inspired work. So being able to put the message out into the universe that that this is it. This is about you living the life of your dreams, your inspired life. So that positive self-talk, the conversations you have with yourself are the most important conversations you'll ever have with anyone. So bring some awareness to that and some intention. And then the last thing I just wanted to be sure to bring into the mix is affirmations. And the key thing to remember about affirmations, and this could be its own message, so maybe I'll do that at some point, because there are different types of affirmations. Different types of affirmations work for different people. And I think one of the biggest mistakes that people make when it comes to affirmations is that they are in a not so great place, and then they try to use affirmations to get to a better place. Don't use affirmations to get to a good state of mind. That's not when affirmations are effective. Get to a good state of mind through meditation, gratitude practice, prayer, being in service of others, focusing on something that sparks joy within you, one of those flow, fun hobbies, like get in a good state of mind, then do your affirmations. That's powerful. And the last thing I want to throw your way is a little bit different than the typical self-care list. I'm going to ask you to take a look at and potentially tweak your to-do list. And maybe even within your to-do list, create a don't do list. So here's what you want to do. You're going to grab a notebook, piece of paper, and just write down, the continuous, repetitive, recurring tasks that you do on a daily, weekly, even monthly basis. Kind of just make a list, and then some columns. And you're going to start to kind of parse out these tasks. There will be some that need to be checked box in the first column, which is you have to do them. These have to get done by you. Like for me, for example, one of the things on my to-do list is to create videos like this. Well, I need to be the one to do this. This is me. This is my message. This is my mission. So I need to show up and do these videos, which I love to do because I hope that they help you. So that's kind of one of the easy ones, but it takes time. It takes preparation, some thought, some brainstorming and feeling it out and getting in a good space to do it. So it does take time. So it is on the to-do list. So that goes in the first column. Like I need to be the one to do that. But I also want you to think about when it comes to those that fall into the column of you have to be the one to get it done. Is there any way you can simplify or bring more ease into the getting it done? Like, for example, if it is a bigger, massive undertaking, could you chunk it? Could you, if it's something that's going to take 4 hours, could you do 30 minutes a day or even 20 minutes a day and get it done over a course of time and still have it done in the time that you need to get it done? Is there some way you can break it up into more what we would call kind of bite-sized chunks? And then on the flip side, is there anything that you could, what's called batch? Is there anything that you could kind of knock out? Like if you've got like a Sunday afternoon and the kids are off doing something, or the significant other is off doing something, you've got the place to yourself, what have you, and you need to get some copy written or some videos done, can you batch them? Instead of feeling like I'm going to do one today and then find another day to do another one, maybe if you've got a few hours, you could do 10 today. And you'll have, the content you need or the social media posts necessary for the next, couple of weeks. So could you batch the tasks that need to be done? So there's a couple of ideas to try to bring some more ease to the things that just have to be done by you. Sometimes they do. But then the next column, is there anything that can be moved to the column or maybe a little check mark to say that it could live in the world of ask for help? Okay, we're not in this alone. And we know because we're difference makers. We We want to make a positive impact on the world. We want to be the uplifters, the nurturers. We want to be the ones that make life easier for other people. And we know how good that feels. Part of me says that all the time, that being of service to others is as much selfish as it is selfless, because I benefit from it as much as those that I am in service to, because it's so fulfilling. It fills my cup, right? And so if you think about that for a moment, think about how it feels to be able to help somebody out. Feels good, right? So is there anything on that to-do list that you could maybe even make someone else's day? Someone, maybe it's a friend or a family member or a coworker or peer, business partner, someone in your mastermind group, someone that you could reach out to in a collaborative way to help you get done what you need to get done. And maybe it would mean even getting it done faster, maybe even better than if you tried to figure it out and do it all on your own. So is there anything that you could ask for help? It's okay to ask for help. Sometimes it's necessary. So is there anything on that list where you can ask for help? Now, is there anything on that list? Here comes the next column. Anything on that list that you could just delegate away? In the fancy online business world, it's called outsourcing. Is there anything that you could delegate away? And that could be in your business or around the house. If one of the things listed on your to-do list is the time it takes once a week to go mow your lawn, is there a kid in the house or down the street that you could pay $10 to take that off your list, delegate it away? And then in your business, when it comes to outsourcing, is there something that maybe you know how to do, you've had to figure it out because you decided to walk this path, but it's not necessarily in your wheelhouse of expertise, nor is it something that you really enjoy. Like maybe it's editing videos or posting on social media. There's so many different kind of tasks that are involved being in this online space. And there's some great places you can go, like Fiverr, Fiverr.com, amazing independent contractors that you can hire just for one-off projects, or to do everything from edit your videos to manage your social media for a month, that can really take a load off of your to-do list. Another one is onlinejobs.ph, I believe it is, but there's several out there where you can outsource to professionals who actually have things like video editing and social media and Facebook ads and things like that are actually in their wheelhouse of expertise. So you could kind of expand your team in that way by at first outsourcing project by project. So that could help ease up the to-do list. And then finally, is there anything, once you write everything out, is there anything that maybe doesn't deserve a space there any longer? I don't know a kinder way to put that, but is there anything that could just be deleted? Is there anything that's something that you just put on your to-do list that just really doesn't need to get done, that maybe you've put on there due to habit or a previous sense of obligation, but something that doesn't necessarily have to be done? So those are your columns. You have this is what you must do, and then always ask the question, is there a way that I could simplify this or bring more ease into the process? Then there is there anything that I can ask for help with? Is there anything that I can outsource or delegate to someone else? And is there anything I can delete? Anything that if I were to let it kind of drift off the list, like the sky wouldn't fall, everything would continue moving forward with good momentum. Only you can decide that, but when you create that list, you'll know. So that's my encouragement for you. Everything we talked about, supercharging your self-care, thinking through all of the kind of typical items that we talked about, but then really take a look at your to-do list and see if you can create a list that just makes more sense, that allows you to both focus your time and energy on what you're really good at, that's going to move your business and your brand forward, move your message and your mission forward, and then bring in the help and the collaboration when that makes sense, and delegate away, outsource when that makes sense, and then just let things go when it's something that you no longer need to do. Okay. So I hope that was super helpful for you. And I am so rooting you on over here in your corner, cheering you on every step of the way. And until our paths cross again, please know that I am sending you so much love. Take care.